Now in this video, this is going to be a response video. I'm going to be addressing something that was a comment or a video that was made by another content creator by a Meechee X. Now those that don't know Meechee X, she's been on YouTube for a little while and she's pretty much been speaking out, I guess, on some pro-black stuff. I'm going to put it like that. She called herself speaking out for our people or whatever. And I'm going to leave it at that. But just recently, she made some comments regarding Martin Luther King, calling him a sellout, and how the civil rights movement destroyed the black community, and a few other things. But more importantly, what I want to holler at her about is what she said about Dr. Martin Luther King. And, of course, his birthday just passed and the holiday just passed, so this been ringing, but let me get to it. Now, first thing, Meechee X, you out of pocket. Dr. King wasn't no sellout, alright? For one, sellouts don't get assassinated. You understand? Just like Malcolm and a lot of other our heroes, the ones that was really about it, what happened to them? For the most part, they was taken out, right? That's what happened with Dr. Martin Luther King. So he wasn't no sellout. Now, he may have been confused in an honest way, but he definitely wasn't no sellout. So you in these clickbait videos for views or whatever, you out of pocket, man. You really is. So let me get more into it. Now, she says the civil rights movement destroyed the black community. Well, see, the thing is, in hindsight, yeah, we can look at things now and see then the effects, positive or negative. So, yeah, in a lot of ways, the civil rights movement did destroy the black community in terms of integration. So, a lot of us tend to say that because we know we need our own. And we tend to think that we was better off when we was segregated. Well, one of the things you got to take into account, Meechee X, and a lot of us, me too, I had to learn this as well. During the time of Jim Crow, segregation, white only, black only, yeah, we had our own communities, but we was redlined. We were being restricted. We couldn't go anywhere else. You had the Ku Klux Klan brutalizing and terrorizing and lynching people, stopping us from growing and prospering. So we was restricted to them communities. And even when we did prosper in those communities, the best example being Tulsa, you see what they did. They bombed it and they sabotaged it. So it was really no way around us getting our freedom, justice, and equality, or getting treated right. You understand? So that ain't the end all be all answer. And another thing, Martin Luther King wasn't the only person involved in the civil rights movement. You understand? It was a lot of people in the civil rights movement, and a lot of them double-crossed Martin Luther King, didn't they? Which why he was assassinated, because they knew he wasn't going to turn over. They knew he wasn't going to sell out. So miss me, miss us with that talk, straight up. And again, King may have been confused in an honest way. And he admitted it. I may have integrated my people in a burning house, which is then they chose to take them out. So I don't get, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Now, of course, again, the civil rights movement in a lot of ways damaged us, but that's not Dr. King's fault entirely. And another thing I want to point out, because I seen on one of your videos, you had a Malcolm X pinned or button or whatever, I guess symbolizing, I look at it, you just try to play odds against the middle, wearing old Malcolm X button or whatever, because Malcolm X and a lot of other brothers wasn't with the whole non-violent approach. They was any means necessary, which is rightfully so, because I ain't gonna tell nobody to let nobody do something to you and don't do nothing. Definitely not that. But when you on an individual basis, but when in politics and war, it's a little bit different. And that's another thing I'm going to point out as far as King's nonviolent approach, because he wasn't operating from weakness. That was a tactic to expose the beast, to remove the mask off the beast so people can see the beast for what the beast really was. Due that the beast wears a nice pretty mask, a nice prestigious mask. So you got to remove that so everybody can see it. And that's what King tactic was. Now I get brothers like Malcolm X and eventually the Panther Party took a different approach. But that don't denounce King's approach because it was effective. So effective that they had to take him out, Meechee X. So miss us with that sellout talk. And then again, speaking of the Panther Party, which naturally came about due to the oppression, because again, when we did try to do it the right way and be in our communities and work and prosper and everything, they bombed it like they did Tulsa. So we naturally gonna have to defend our communities, and that's where the militant posture came from. But and the party came in '66, and they asked Dr. King, what do you think about these young hoods out the Bay Area kicking up dust? And King said, well, those that make a non-violent revolution possible makes a violent one inevitable. So King knew what time it was. He was just smart enough, he understand that to again remove the mask, because when you do that, that naturally puts the bullseye on the beast. But see, that's a different talk. That's above your head, obviously, Meechee X. And then she goes how to say how the bus boycott was basically used to take out a lot of the black-owned bus systems. Well, basically what she do is she used some clips from Dr. Claude Anderson, because Dr. Claude Anderson, and y'all need to research him, he's a get decent brother, and he teaches powernomics and collectivism, and he points out in a lot of ways how the civil rights movement and integration helped destroy the black communities, and he's true to that. But at the same time, that ain't Martin Luther King's fault, Meechee X, and he didn't knowingly do that. He wasn't in on the play. He was confused in the honest way, and as soon as he realized, they took him out. You understand? So that's how we remember Dr. King. We don't remember him as no sellout, as no double agent plant. It was the ones that double crossed him, the ones that picked up the torch after him, and we know them. We know them names. So I'm just not with that. And you need to, we ain't with that. And if you don't believe me, don't take my word for it. Definitely don't take her word for it, y'all. Listen to Dr. King's speeches. All his speeches. Hell, he sound like Malcolm X right now. So I don't care about you wearing no Malcolm X button or sticker, trying to play odds against the middle. That don't mean nothing. Dr. King stood for much more, man, so don't tarnish his name or his legacy. You understand? Now, we know how they like to post his simple little summary, I have a dream, non-violent approach, and try to use it against us. And this is why we telling people to research who Dr. King really was and really was trying to do and what he really stood for. But I'm not about to sit there and let you say he was a sellout. If anything, everybody sold him out because he was honest and he was waking up, and ain't no way around it. So all that you talking, even these black businesses, that ain't the end all be all. You already seen what's gonna happen when you build it all up. These communities getting sabotaged, but that's a whole different story. I just really want to get at her, y'all, regarding them statements she made about Dr. King and Meechee X. If you see this video, you wrong. Stop with the clickbait titles. Stop with the shock value statements, because you're not talking about Dr. King. I've seen your videos. You clip little excerpts on how civil rights movement, which was a lot of people involved in the civil rights movement. You understand? Because King was Republican. Remember that. You understand? So it wasn't after he got taken out, a lot of that stuff started happening. So you keep that in mind. Now, a lot of people will argue his nonviolent approach, but that was something he even realized himself. I integrated my people into a burning house, because it definitely spoke on the right to eat in the same restaurant as white folks. Now, again, in hindsight, who cares about all that when it's They're not questioning who owned the restaurant. You understand? But this is after the fact. We know this now. Just like a lot of things you won't come to realize that you don't know now, I see. So, yeah, you take that. And that's what I want everybody to take from this video. I know I'm freestyling, but I just seen it and I'm like, hell nah. And again, a lot of people do this for the shock value and the clickbait. Maybe she want people to come after her because one of the videos I seen, I guess she had put a response video, and I guess it was supposed to be like more proof that Martin sold us out in the civil rights movement failed the black community. Again, where did Martin sell us out? Now, what is you trying to say? Because he preached earlier on in his career nonviolence and integration? But really, it was just nonviolence, and that was a tactic, again, to remove the mask from the beast. But about you calling him a sellout? Nah, man. Sellouts don't get assassinated. Alright? Period, point blank. They don't take out those who they know they can neutralize. You understand? They knew it was no way around it. That's why they did that. So, forget what you talking about, Meechee X, on that. And anybody, again, if you see this video, that's what I want you to take from this video. Sellouts don't get assassinated. King wasn't no sellout. If anything, he was confused in an honest way, which he admitted a little later on when he made that statement. I may have integrated my people into a burning house. But he wasn't no sellout. He wasn't no coon. Period, point blank.